Mike Carland. I'm a Toastmaster for about 6 years. I was Sergeant at Arms. That was the first officer position that I held, and I did that for about 4 years, and I found it very easy to do, and that was with Daybreak. The Sergeant at Arms, what do they do? You are the face of the club, because when people come in, you're the one who greets them. You're the one who comes, well, first of all, you come to the meeting early, you set up all the supplies, which I brought this box from Daybreak as an example. You set up all the supplies, the ballots, any kind of forms that you're going to be using. You may be rearranging the furniture, the chairs, getting the room ready, adjusting the thermostat, whatever it takes. And when when people come into the room, you are the greeter. You're the one with the smiling face, which brings, makes people want to come in. Yep. You greet them with a handshake, a hello. And on top of that, let's see, there's a lot of things. We'll get into that, everything that you do. At the beginning of the meeting, in most cases, the Sergeant at Arms is the person who gavels in the meeting. And then they will also do the Pledge of Allegiance. Get everyone to stand up and you do the Pledge of Allegiance. They will guide you in that. At that point, they introduce the President. And you usually don't see the Sergeant at Arms for the rest of the meeting after that. They will sit back. One other thing is sitting back by the door. What's that? Watching the time?
Tell people to turn off their cell phones.
Oh, yes. That would go with housekeeping. It would be, I'll tell you now, you can, it's okay if you have your cell phones on during this training, but they would also guide the people for new guests where the restrooms are at the beginning of the meeting as well. Important things you need to know. Well, I'll tell you some other things. It's great if you have organization skills. I mean, if you're good at organizing things, because like this box of the materials needed for a meeting, it's good if you're good at doing that. If not, it's a great entry-level position, and you can learn. It's something you can learn to. In this training, you're going to hear a lot about club culture. If you haven't heard that term before, it's the little things that each club does differently. Now, later on in the training, there are 3 things that Toastmasters International says that you must do. Everything else, it varies according to club. Because, for one thing, I belong to a dining club. Lance is the president of Wine and Dine. We meet at restaurants. A lot of things are different there because you don't want to be bringing this into the restaurant. We don't have a banner. We don't do the Pledge of Allegiance. It was suggested there is a mini banner you can get. And we don't even use a lectern. We started using a music stand. We bought a music stand. And that worked a lot better. It does not take up the important space on the table. Yeah. Here, I'll go over one thing one thing that Daybreak, when I came to Daybreak, that I noticed they did, that I had not seen this at other clubs, the functionary roles. And does everyone know what a functionary role is? Okay, for those who are new, your timer, general evaluator, all counter, grammarian. For example, the timer, when someone comes into the meeting and they're going to be the timer, what Daybreak did is everything went into one packet, one folder. So you just hand this to them. It's none of this like trying to find the timing cards in the file or the score sheet where you're going to keep track. Also, the script is on the front of this. So when you call upon them at the beginning of the meeting, when the Toastmaster calls upon them, then they just read what's on the front of this. What else is in this file is like evaluation forms. And it's the job of the Sergeant at Arms to put this out, or depending on your club, if you're using this type of evaluation form, or you may have, your club may have come up with their own custom form, it doesn't matter. They're the ones who will put it out on the table, set it out. I like to set the intention for, let's say you're expecting 6 people at your meeting, a small thing, I like to put out like 15 so you set the intention that more people are going to show up. So you set these out at all the tables, and it's the sergeant at arms who looks or keeps track of the stock of these. And if they need more of them, they can contact either the treasurer if you need to find out a way to pay for them. How are you going to order more from TI? Or if you have a way to copy them yourself, then do that. So there's a file on evaluations. There's the ballot forms. This is intros for those who did not write up their intro ahead of time for their speech. Let's see, there's flyers. There's stuff that goes into the guest packet. And one very important thing, the Sergeant at Arms sets out the guest book. This should be set out on the table so guests will see it as they come in and have a pen near it, a working pen, and make sure that they sign it. Right? Yeah, these are the name tags. The Sergeant at Arms should put these out. When I was Sergeant at Arms, I would look at the agenda ahead of time, and so I would know, like, okay, these 8 people are saying they're going to show up, so I make sure their names are out front, and then I put everyone else out there too. Besides these type of name tags, I know we also have the labels, the guest labels, and then a Sharpie. And so as people come in, you encourage them, if they're a guest, to sign their name and stick it on them so you know who you're talking to. So what else is in this folder is table topics. For what I always kept was a sheet of like go-to table topics questions. Sometimes in a meeting, someone is assigned to do table topics, and they at the last minute, and they forgot to come up with some questions. So you can look for those on or just do a Google search, and you'll find there's like 300 or there's thousands out there. The Sergeant at Arms also puts signs up. If your club has to have like signs to direct people to exactly where the meeting is. I know Marcia started something you'll see down on the sidewalk as you came in this building. Those are old real estate signs, and it says Toastmasters. Yeah, and she's been using. Besides that, for the timer, what we used to do. Most people have cell phones. I mean, yeah, it's like 100%. But we have a little timing device in case they didn't have one. This would be clipped onto the folder as when we set it out at the beginning of the meeting. Another thing that's in here that's very important is guest packets. These are color coded. Half of these are guest packets. The other ones are new member packets. So when someone's a guest, they get this packet. The Sergeant at Arms should make sure that this is stocked. In Daybreak, I believe it was the VPE or membership actually stocked these and made sure that I got these. If I had like less than 4 or 4 less, then I would tell them we need some before our next meeting.
What's in the guest packet?
That has, first of all, this is one of the many flyers from TI. This is Confidence, the voice of leadership. Yeah. There's another one all about Toastmasters. And you'll notice this one's got a sticker. One of us, somebody printed it up, which tells the name of the club, the phone number, or when we meet, the location, time.
Better on the back, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see. There is a place. Yeah. I'm not sure why they defaced it. Yes. For those people in your club that belong to more than one Toastmaster club, they will get a magazine for each club. Unless, now you can opt out of that to save on postage. But ask them for extra copies. They will be placed in the guest packets. We try not to give them anything that's older than maybe like 6 months. So they're rotated. Also from TI, you can download this form and print it, or you can get copies already printed. Features, benefits, and value. And it goes through all the features that make up, or what you learn being a Toastmaster, and what the benefits are, and then how it helps you out in the real world. Well, I'm going to move on from the other packet. Now, also the gavel. You should set up the lectern. If your club uses a lectern, set it up at the front. Make sure the gavel's up here. So, also when you go to gavel in, you're not searching for it. Daybreak started using this for a while. These little cones. This is another club culture thing. If we tried to make sure that everyone has a speaking role, so we'll place this near people. Well, you can do it either way. Place it near people that have functionary roles, or that are people that have speeches already that day, so you know who's speaking. When the person comes up to do table topics, they know to call on someone who does not have a cone in front of them. One important thing too is put the name of your club, and I did have a phone number on here, but somebody's phone number, because what if for some reason, heaven forbid, you leave this behind at one of your at your meeting site. So yeah. And because this training is interactive, I want to ask a question. So what happens? You come to your usual meeting place, let's say like this community room, and you, as a sergeant at arms, has the key, and you find out. Well, you find out at the last minute the room's booked for someone else, so you can't have your meeting in this room. So what do? Say everyone's at the door and you can't go in, or let's say you forgot the key and you can't get into the room. So what do? Daybreak met at a homeowners association up in Santa Clarita, and someone forgot about. Or I don't know, we couldn't get into the room, so we were in the hallway. We were in a hallway, and you can have a meeting there. Yeah. If for some reason, like it's a building, and you have to go in through an exterior door, you can have the meeting out in the parking lot. So why waste your resources on canceling the meeting? Of this interactive part of our meeting, we're going to do a role play part. As I mentioned, the most important thing of a sergeant at arms is that you greet the guests as they come in. Well, you should greet everybody, the members as well. Yes. So I'd like to pair everyone up with someone else, or how about turn to the person behind you. You can pair up with them, and let's say in this first part that the guests, you're someone brand new to Toastmasters. You just read about the meetings that it was going to take place at this place, and you decided to just come in and see what it's like. So Lance and Christine and
I was going to work first behind me, you said.
Oh yes, yeah, that's what I meant. You three are going to be the guests. And then Angie, Brian, and Michelle, you're the Toastmaster, or you're the Sergeant at Arms. So I'd like you to greet the people in the front row one-on-one, and just take like a minute, and I want you to think about what questions do you ask, or what do you say in this. You should keep a mental note of that, how they found out about the club, and then talk to your VP of PR. And you can bring this up in your next board meeting, your executive committee meeting, what's working and what's not working. And when you hear a lot, when people say, oh, we found you on Meetup, or we found you on Facebook. Gavel. By the way, you're supposed to hit this just one time. I've been.
So much fun to do it twice.
Yeah.
Oh, I do it once, but it is heard across the Santa Clarita Valley.
Yeah, that's good.
Get that going.
So I see a few of you brought tablets or laptops. If you would get on Toastmasters, Toastmasters.org, and once you get to the home page, I'm going to ask you to log in. By the way, we're doing this part about the website because it was found, the district found that I don't know what a greater percentage of the membership does not know how to navigate the TI website, and this is like the go-to website. To a lesser degree, District 52, which our district has its own website as well. So once you're on toastmasters.org. You go up to the top here where it says login. And this is where you log in with your membership name or email and then your password. And you can tell it, it's a lot easier if you tell it to remember it so you don't have to do this each time. And what we're going to do now is take a look at your profile, member profile. And the way you get to your profile, you'll notice it's not on the menu here anywhere. You go to welcome and then where your name is up at the top, the one that you just used to, or next to where you logged in. Oh yeah, it's kind of hidden. Yeah, you wouldn't think that it's yeah.
In your eyes just naturally go to the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah. Once you get to that, this is what you get. This is where you start going into your profile, and what I want you to do is click on this reddish-colored block on the left, and it's Edit, Contact, Information, and Privacy. And then on this menu, go to the third tab over, My Privacy and Consents, and open that up. And here you will see five different items that have a yes or no. This is how you opt out of how you want to be contacted, how you would prefer to be contacted by TI. That is by email. If you don't want to receive any emails from them, you don't want any mail that comes to your house from them. Do you want third-party information shared and mailed out to you?
I need to tell you really quickly on that. I did
Yes.
discover something.
Mm-hmm.
Third-party information is very important as Sergeant-at-Arms. If you do not opt in for third-party information, you cannot order from the Toastmasters store because they use third-party vendors. So if you opt out of that, you can't order anything. And as Sergeant-at-Arms, you might be ordering. Your treasurer might be the person that's ordering, but whoever's ordering needs to opt in for third-party emails.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Good point. Yeah.
Once the person opts out, can they opt back?
Yeah, this is where you go. You can turn it on and off all the time. You can turn it on and then turn it off. And yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
See, I thought third party was like credit card information or credit card companies.
I did too.
Yeah, other
Found out about the store.
like other organizations they pair up with. Yeah. Okay.
Just check yes for everything.
Yeah. The only thing that I have opted out of is phone. I don't want them calling me. Now, that doesn't mean I called TI to ask them a question and I had to leave a message on their voicemail. They will call you back because I have that turned off, but because you gave them your phone number and you asked a question, they will call you. But they won't call you for any other reason. If you change these for any reason, then make sure you check at the bottom that you're going to save it. Otherwise, the changes do not take effect. Taking a look at Club Central. And so if you can cancel out of that box or go back. And once you get back to this screen here, go to Leadership Central, the tab, Leadership Central, and then move your cursor over to Club Central. Now, you as an officer of whatever clubs, I'm an officer in 2 clubs. You'll see your club or clubs appear on this page. You can select either one to deal with. I'm going to select the dining club for this example. Has everyone got to this point here? Okay, to Club Central. These are called tiles. All these items, as you move your cursor over them, you'll see they appear as light up as tiles. I'm not going to go through all of these, but the ones that a sergeant at arms would have interest in dealing with. The first one is add membership. That is the very first one here. If you would click on that, this is usually the treasurer would be entering a new member. And this, again, this is so that you as an officer, all officers should get to know how you navigate through Club Central and all the different items. This is how you add a new member. Now, if the person has already been a member at one time, it defaults to that no, let's say, or are they new? No, and then it just asks for their last name. And I thought, this was amazing the first time I did this, and I had to put in someone who became a new member of a club, and I just put in their last name, and here it found them. It found them in the records, and you'll see it will populate the form. Let's go to click on yes, they're a new member, and you'll see it opens up to a lot more, including sponsor information. You'll see phone numbers, primary email. Oh, and then at the bottom of that, at the bottom of all the fields that you fill out, it will say again about that occasionally TI sends out mail, email, and phone calls, makes phone calls, and would you like to receive these? You should see on the application that the applicant said yes or no to each one of these. And so you can set their preferences here at this point. The next tile down is submit educational awards. And that's usually the VPE does that. And here, I'll click on this, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Or does everyone know what an educational award is? Okay, that's when someone has attained a different another level in pathways or maybe a DTM. And one thing in particular, you cannot submit an award for yourself. When you go to do this, you select the member, and you'll see that your own name does not appear here. So there is no way to do it. So to the right, there's submit payment. Adding membership and submit payment, these work hand in hand. The treasurer would add the new member information, and then they need to submit the payment. And this is how you as an officer, by the way, you have an advantage. You can pay your international dues to TI online, and this is how you do it. And you'll see all the members, and then when they or when the dues are due next, and then you just add it to the cart. You can pay your dues. You can pay someone else's dues as well. Another member through this as an officer. And the last item, the fourth item in club membership is club roster. This gives all the information on your members. And at this level, you cannot edit the information. That's done in the add member section. That's where you edit it. Does anyone know what the padlocks mean? You'll see padlocks, little locks scattered around there. Anyone have a guess? No? Well, somewhat, yeah. What that means is they opted out. They opted out of those items. The part that I went through earlier, your profile, and where you select your preferences for privacy, the 5 items, this is where it appears. So like this first person, if it's near a phone number or an email address, that means they They opted out of that part. They did not want TI to contact them. And you cannot go in there and manipulate it and change it. They need to do it themselves. Hit the back arrow, and we're going to go down to the second section of this, club administration. There's the first item is club officer assignment, and this is where you, after you've had elections, this is where you assign who's the president, who's the VPE, the sergeant at arms, and you'll see it right here, and it will tell you for the current term. This is something that the secretary usually fills out, takes care of this part. Club contact and meeting information. Club contact and meeting information. This is very important because if you don't keep this up to date, how is someone going to find your club meetings? And this is where here at the top, find a club. When somebody tries to find a Toastmasters club, they will be directed to their opening page and find find a club. And when they click on that, and maybe they put in a city, and your club appears, this is the information that's in that section about your club. And so it's important that it's up to date. And you, as Sergeant at Arms, if you should change your meeting location or your meeting times, then please go in here and change that. And there's also the contact phone number. Make sure whoever you've determined to be your contact, it could be the president. That's another thing that's club culture. It all depends on your particular club. And then who's going to receive email from TI. So in here, well, for example, for the dining club, we meet at different restaurants, so I could not put a specific address. And then it has our website and then our Facebook page. And it also has a map of the area showing where the club is. All right, the next thing we're going to take a look at is Distinguished Performance Report. And that's right there, the second item. If you would click on that. Of course, this is going to look different depending on what club you went to, you navigated to, or that you're a sergeant at arms with. The first item I wanted to draw your attention to is the one that's front and central there, the membership box. This is something that, most people don't understand, and I'm just starting to understand a little bit more about it too, just recently. Yeah, there's a base number that's how many members. The base is how many members did you have as of June 30th? Yeah, because Toastmasters goes according to the fiscal year, July 1st. So the last day, June the 30th, they're using that as the base. You for like the dining club, we ended the year with 22 members. How many do we have to date? This will change. I don't know. I guess it's updated every year. Yeah, every 24 hours, I believe, or as new members come in. And then to date, that's your current membership. So we have 10. And then what's required? And by the required, this is if everyone's heard about distinguished, what a distinguished club is, and the DCP, or the Distinguished Club Program. This is a qualifier for all these other items here, the goals. Before you can reach any of those goals, you have to have the required amount of members that TI says that you must have. That number will never be more than 20. Well, yeah, base plus 5, but in that case it would be more than 20, but they cap it out at 20.
Cap it out 20.
Yeah.
So one of my clubs had 13 members as a base, June 30th. That means we don't need 20, we just need 18, which is 13 plus 5.
5, yes.
Next June,
Yeah.
June 30th. We have
Yeah.
13 plus 5, or 18. We can, all the other points will count.
Right, yeah. Or you probably don't know what net growth is. Net growth, that means, or a net growth of 5 members, that means getting 5 new members but not losing your existing members. These are the goals. When you start, you'll start hearing about different or DCP points and different goals. Each one of these, there's a goal in the first half of the year, and then in the second half. Or that is, some of them are split up into 2, and then some of them are just a single goal. Like to get to, for someone to complete a CC, for this club the goal is 2. They've determined. To date we haven't attained any. I don't know what's going on with your tablet. Yeah. And then down here, membership. The goal is to get 4 new members, and then on top of that, 4 more members. And this is apart from what was up at the top here, the membership box, because you get credit even if it's if it's just 4 members. You don't have to get the full number up here to attain that one goal. Yeah. And you'll see on the right-hand side up at the top there, the goals. It will say that 3 goals have been met out of all these items. To be distinguished, we have to get 5 goals. To be select distinguished, 7, and president's distinguished, 9. This is something that the VPE would be entering. Also, there's a couple items that are just single items, like down at the bottom, like administration, item 10, getting the membership renewal dues on time. Did all your members get their dues paid in time? And for that, you just get a point for just one time. And how about the officer list? Was it submitted on time? And that's a single item. You'll see. Let me go down to where officer training is. Yeah, item number 9. You'll see that they only require 4 officers to be trained, 4 out of your 7. But the District 52 would love to have you have all 7 officers trained. Because, I mean, if you have, like we had all 7 trained. So what does that say about your club? It means that everyone is concerned about being up to date on rule changes and what their job is, knowing, because you can't do your job unless you know what your job entails and what you're supposed to be doing. The other box on the upper left, that tells where your club is in the whole world, in TI, in their organization. It's within Region 2. The district is 52. And then the division is a smaller area, and then we're in area 32. Yeah. Next item is, it's on the same page on the left-hand side it's under Other Reports. The first item is Daily Reports. Once you get to Daily Reports, I want you to click on the third item on the left-hand side. That is Educational Achievements, current year. And what you should see is this. This is every club. Well, it's every person in the district that has submitted an educational award for this current year. Now, if you look on this list, under member, the very top entry there, you'll see for the person's name, or for the member's name, there's just a number, and it says not available. That is someone who opted out of their profile, out of their privacy settings.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Oh, and which one? It is for public records. Your name to appear on public records. Now, I'm bringing you to this point for a reason. Out of the 1,800 members in our district, there's actually less than 200 right now that have submitted educational awards. So it's that either people are not submitting their accomplishments as they go, or they're letting a few people, like one or two in each club, is really submitting all the awards for the whole district, and that's a big contrast there. Out of 1,800, only 200 have submitted awards. If you go above any of these columns, like name and highlight name, you can sort them alphabetically. And then maybe find your own club, and then it will have all the people's names there. So that also means that they're not getting their money's worth. That if they're not submitting awards and they're not improving their skills. So the question is, could this be because it's a fear of pathways, which pathways is here now? And the deadline is, let's see, when is it? June the 30th? That everybody must be on pathways. And it's district52.org. At first, I couldn't keep all these straight because your club has its own website. It may be on Free Toast Hosts, a website through that. And then you've got the district, which is the greater area here, and then you've got the internet, and then click on the icon that says Pathways, number 5 across there, the fifth circle. Yeah, and this is our Pathways. What do you call her? Coordinator? Or what? Chair. Our Pathways chair, Dawn Jenkins. And once you get there, if you click on the Pathways Quick Guide, Get Started Today, this is a great guide that tells you how to get started on Pathways. For those members who haven't enrolled yet into Pathways, a very simple two-page document on. After that, go back, and then just go down a little bit. The second item under Dawn, and it's explore all the paths and projects, and that's Pathway Paths and Projects. And if you click on that, and this is an amazing guide. This shows all the different paths, what they entail. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the last section of this training, meeting standards. Meeting standards. If you would take out this sheet from your packet, it's a meeting standards worksheet. Now, this is something that District 52 this time around would like to really emphasize, and that is what TI expects in a meeting, because there's three items that TI expects in a club meeting. All the other ones are suggestions, and the three things are prepared speeches. That is that at some point, someplace in your meeting, you have prepared speeches. Now, this doesn't mean, this has happened in clubs I've been to where both of your speakers have canceled and someone's offered to come up and do an impromptu speech. That does not mean an impromptu speech. If they have a speech that's prepared that they keep, or we call it in your pocket, a pocket speech, something that you've kept with you, and you can always, in a pinch, get up here and do a speech. That's what a prepared speech is, and especially when we're fully in pathways, it also means having the evaluation form for that speech. So, I mean, it's better than nothing having someone come up here and do a speech, but out of just off the top. But that's what a prepared speech is, one part of a meeting. Also, a written or spoken evaluation. So you must have that to be able to call it a meeting. And the third item is table topics. And table topics can be questions from a form. I'll tell you some of the clever things. Someone has brought a bag in and put items inside of a black bag. You pull it out, sight unseen, and you have to do a speech on that. On an orange or something. Yeah, a furry creature, anything. Yeah. There's all different things. I love bringing in photographs, large 8x10 photographs, and you pick one blindly from the table, and then you have to do a table topics on that. Now, what does TI suggest that you do within a meeting?